Okay, good morning, Baseball and Coffee. We are back on Monday morning, September 15th, so halfway through September. 10 a.m., whole new slate of series are starting up today as we came off a big-time weekend. Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, Giants. Toronto, Baltimore was a fun series. Toronto ends up sweeping that series, which was a big deal. So we'll start the same way as always. We'll head over here, and we will look at our updated standing situation. All right, we have Toronto. This is we got to go with regular. Okay, yeah. So Toronto now has a four-game lead on the Yankees, 5.5 on the Red Sox. So this is exactly played out exactly the way I thought it would. They end up splitting the series. Yankees win 2 out of 3, but I knew there probably wouldn't be a sweep there. Toronto goes ahead and does sweep Baltimore, so they remain in the driver's seat with only half a month to play. 4-game lead. Red Sox 5.5 back. In the Central, Detroit 6.5 on Cleveland, who's been really, really good lately, 9 out of the last 10. We got a quick question in the chat from John Smith. Do you like cigars with your coffee? Yes. I like cigars in general, especially the cigar culture that exists in the Dominican, which I found out a lot about when I was down there, particularly in Santiago. Really all over the place, but it's really cool. So yeah, a lot of cigars and coffee. There you go. Although mostly cigars when I golf. It's either golf, barbecue, maybe I'm out with the boys, but that's it. Maybe a celebration. It's not like I'm smoking a cigar in the morning. Anyway, just wanted to clarify that. All right, so now Seattle has jumped into first place in AL West. They've now won 9 in a row. We're going to watch George Kirby. He punched 14 last night. Astros 1 game behind them, and Rangers 3 back from them as they lost to the Mets yesterday with that Pete Alonso walk-off. Philly has now clinched a playoff spot. They'll clinch the division today. 12 games up on the Mets. What can you say there? Philly ended up running away with it. Milwaukee has also clinched a playoff spot, but not the Central yet. They are 5.5 up on the Cubbies, and the Giants 2.5 up on the Pods. Padres and Mets start tonight, so it's going to get very, very interesting. Yeah, Spectre says it's getting colder, which means it's time for the baseball season to start heating up. I agree. Everybody's, they turn their attention to football, but this is when the baseball gets really good. All right, wild card. Houston, 2 games up on Texas, 2.5 on Cleveland. So those teams are definitely in it. I think Kansas City might be cooked. That's my feeling on Kansas City. They're 500. Not enough time probably to run down 3 teams. And then the Red Sox, who did win yesterday, and that was a big, big win. So Padres and Mets start tomorrow. Okay. Because I'm doing the Yankees today. They play today. So I'll do the probables at the end so I can get up to date on who the heck's playing today. See, Boston's only 1 ahead of Houston, so Boston is only really 3 games safe right now, so that's a little sketchy. Yeah, Jane Goodrich says, I'm a little nervous about my Red Sox. I can see that. I can understand that. I still think they have good mojo. Crochet looked really good. Bullpen's looking really good. I'm going to watch Whitlock a little bit. So we'll get there in a minute. In the National League, the Mets are clinging to this 1.5 game lead over San Fran. And 2 over the Diamondbacks. And now, the Diamondbacks have entered the chat. Wow. So they've jumped the Reds. So San Francisco and the Diamondbacks, and they play each other now. So that's probably going to trip them up if they split that series. But then again, we also have San Diego, who's got a lot to play for in this Mets series. This is actually a very fascinating moment. And when we come out of this series right now, we're going to see... We're going to see where we stand. We also have Phillies-Dodgers. That's right. Good call, Spectre. The Dodgers famously are terrible against the Phillies. I think it might be the only winning team that Dodgers have a negative record since 21. Yeah, D-backs and Giants play each other, which is nice for the beloved Metropolitanos. Yes, again, if they split, it's perfect for the Mets. The Mets are just hoping there's no sweep one way or another that pushes the team up a lot. And then Jane's talking about just the angst that comes with being a Sox fan. Sox fans, Mets fans, they can relate on that level. All right, I'm going to hop over to Baseball Reference for a second just to take a peek at the top performers from last night. Mickey Moniak, 4 for 4 with 2 homers for the Rock Show. George Springer, 3 for 5. He's been so great all year. Bo Naylor, 2 for 3. Cal Raleigh, we're going to watch that home run where he now either tied Mickey Mantle or passed Mickey Mantle for something. There's some catcher record, switch hitters, all sorts of weird records with Cal Raleigh hitting a lot of homers this year. Because didn't Mickey Mantle hit like 60 or 58 or something the year that Maris? I don't know. Anyway, George Kirby, the 14 punchies, that's what we're going to watch too. So I think obviously we're going to start with McLean just because I think that's what most people want to see. We'll give the people what they want to see. This guy continues to be awesome. This was start number 6 for Nolan yesterday. Yes. Now he's 4-1 with a 1.19 through his first 37 2/3. So this is an absolute burner to start off your career. But the way he goes about it, I'm not going to say a 1.19 is sustainable, but this guy's a really good pitcher. Like, he's just a really good pitcher. It's impressive. You don't see rookies maybe hardly ever come up this polished. So I'm excited to watch it. First, I'm just going to go over here and make sure I have all the stuff queued up to look at in terms of how he went about it. 27 sinkers, 24 sweepers, 14 four seams, 12 cutters, 8 curveballs, 7 changeups. He did, interesting here. I guess it's because of the makeup of the Rangers currently, but he threw 49 pitches versus righties, 43 versus lefties. I expect the number of pitches he has to throw versus lefties, percentage-wise, to majorly increase as time goes on. Teams are going to challenge him with a lot of different lefties. Okay. All right, so let's just go watch it. McLean versus the Rangers. I tuned into this game but late, so I missed a lot of the McLean. So this is good for me. I get to see how the kid looked again. So first inning, he comes out guns blazing. We'll watch all the pitches of these first 2 batters at least because he gets strikeout. All right, so starts the game with a 4-seam. It's a pretty good 4-seam for him, metrically. 2-0 count. He gets the pleasure of Mr. C.B. Buckner behind the plate for this game. 2-0 cutter. Interesting. Just drops in a 2-0 cutter. Interesting that they didn't stick fastball here. But I do like the fact, and I also appreciate the fact that his strike pitches aren't necessarily fastballs. Cutters and sweepers, I think, are the pitches he wants to throw for strikes. And this is a perfect cutter. This is, again, I've talked a lot about how I'm not much of an advocate for throwing a cutter behind in the count, right on left or left on right if you don't have a good one. But if you're going to throw it to this location, I'm okay with it. That's perfect. Here comes the curveball. Filthy. Unbelievable he didn't swing at that. But he's all set up for the front hip sinker, so I'm assuming that's what's coming here. Every single pitch has not been a sinker yet. Nothing's gone arm side, a couple 4-seamers, whatever, cutters, curveball. So he's all set up. I'll be shocked if this is anything but that.
3-2. Got him looking at a fastball.
Yeah, and see you later. And I don't know what Josh Smith's approach in this at-bat was. But it didn't work, so 1 out, no swings. All right, Wyatt Langford, who had a really good series versus the Mets. Every time I watched, and I tuned in this series, he was putting together a good at bat. So.
And it's 2-0, only behind 2-0. Jock Peterson on deck.
So he's got to go 2-0 on each of the first 2 hitters. And there's that sweeper. That's the other pitch that he likes to throw, it seems, when he needs to throw a strike. So execution-wise, even though he strikes out both of these first 2 guys, he didn't come out of the gate super sharp. But he's got enough feel to be able to throw a strike when he needs one. Like right here on 3-1, he goes sweeper. 3-1, nobody on in the first. He's not just going to pipe a fastball. And mostly it's not because the fastball is not quality or that he thinks it's going to get hit. It's just he's more comfortable throwing his sweeper for a strike. This was a big adjustment I made going into 2018. which turned out to be my career year off of 2017, which was my career worst season. I just decided that my primary pitch was a slider, was a sweeper, another backdoor sinker. So same thing he did with the other batter. He throws everything but the sinker, and then when the sinker comes out, they're not ready for it. Swoops back to the corner, and it's a second called strike 3. So let me just get back into that a little bit. In 2017, I would fall behind in the count 2-1, 3-1, 2-0, 1-0, whatever, and we had a new manager, Bud Black, at the time, and he didn't really know me yet, and I guess I wasn't that confident the way I should have been or something, and I also had some out-of-whack mechanics that year, so I decided to throw fastballs in those situations because I felt like people would be like disappointed in me, or Bud Black would look down on it if I threw breaking balls for balls in like 2-0 or 3-1 counts. But I walked the house that year, and I was generally awful with that strategy. So when I came back the next year, I just stated it right away in my first meeting, like, hey, slider's my primary pitch, and I'm going to throw it 3-0, 3-1, 2-0, 2-1. It doesn't really matter. That's the pitch I think I can throw over the plate, and that they might swing at. So once that was out there in the open, it was a lot more comfortable for me to like throw a slider 3-1 with nobody on and nobody out, because that's my strike pitch. That's what we're seeing from McLean. And it's awesome that he's already comfortable enough, and that's just indicative of the atmosphere the Mets do create as a pitching staff, and how good Hefner is, that he feels comfortable to be himself and throw his sweeper behind in the count. So continuing the fact that he wasn't very sharp in the first inning, he walks Jock Peterson on 4 pitches, and then he's going to get this last out of Adolis Garcia with a sweeper. So really probably the least sharp I've seen him to date is this first inning. But it ends with no runs, no hits, and 2 strikeouts. So just shows the quality of the stuff and the ability to still sequence despite not having the best feel in that first inning. Let me jump in the chat for a hot second before I get into the second inning. We got some talks about Seattle's pitchers, so we'll take a better look at that when we get to watching George Kirby. Mets fans are loving this guy, McLean. Wyatt Langford is the Rangers' version of PCA, but nobody talks about him. He's fast. His bat is better than PCA, and he can field. Langford will be the Rangers' franchise cornerstone. Wow, I love that. Wyatt Langford's just got a cool story. He was like bullpen catching at University of Florida and like a walk-on, and then he became like basically the best hitter in the history of their program. So he's got the gator arms that I talk about, and obviously very mentally strong, a lot of self-belief in that kid. So do you think they'll let McLean hit ever? He was a two-way player coming into AA. I think that ship has probably sailed unless he like demands it, becomes such a star that he like demands it. All right, Rowdy Tellez, he's going to strike out. So let's watch this whole at bat too.
It's the longest home run in the major leagues this year.
So there's an adjustment. CB, of course, doesn't make the call here because he gets hit, so he's a little distracted. But the adjustment was, I need to get ahead in the count. I'm going right to the sweeper. So that's what he does here. And you see it has so much movement that Alvy doesn't even catch it. Another 2-0 count.
When the left-handed hitter's in there, it's a little more difficult.
There we go. 2-0 sinker in there.
That's left of the catcher.
Interesting that they have chosen sinker pitch type to Tellez. So this shows me that he is definitely listening to some of the scouting reports. Notice how Josh Smith didn't see, and Jock Peterson, although I didn't watch Jock Peterson's at bat, but definitely Josh Smith didn't see any sinkers until that put-away pitch. Tellez has seen 3 in the first 4 pitches, so something about his bat path, they feel like they can get below the bat on that. All right, 3-2 with another sinker, and he throws him a perfect front door sinker. So all 3 strikeouts are on this pitch, and everybody thinks this pitch is so hard to throw, but I promise you, if you practice this pitch a lot, and you'll be able to figure it out. It's not that complicated. You just have to orient yourself in a slightly different direction than you're used to being. And if you start executing this pitch, I mean, you don't have to get them to swing and miss. So this is so beautiful. He's gotten 3 strikeouts on it, and they didn't take the bat off their shoulder. All right, so now Josh Jung going to get him with a sweeper. So here we go. Gets to a 1-2 count in this at-bat. So first time he's like really way ahead in the count. Lindor, nice play. A little pirouette move out there. You could, interesting, McLean's reaction. If I go off center field, McLean's reaction to him hitting this ball, I think, was that he was pissed off. Yeah, he wanted to get that sweeper a little further away. So that's also a good sign, like, when you're not just reacting to results, you're reacting to process. Like, you know that that's not what you intended to do. So you're holding yourself to a higher standard than just the result. All right, now he's going to give up the first hit here to Ozuna on a changeup.
Ozuna pulls one and a great stop by Alonso. Can McLean get there? Not in
Just
time.
pulled down in. Honestly, lucky it wasn't a double. It was a heck of a pick by Pete. I don't know if McLean didn't get a good jump off the mound here. Oh, yeah, he hesitated big time. He didn't know that he was going to catch it. I think he got a little confused about where it was. Yeah, and it ends up costing him a hit here. He turned on the jets to get there, but Ozuna did too, so. Then he has to face Higgy, and he's going to get Higgy out.
Line drive not caught, a catcher's interference call in a one-run game. Pulled down to third.
Gets in on Kyle's hands there. Vientos, nice strong throw. So good first 2 innings. Definitely thought in the second inning started to get a little sharper. So let's see how he keeps that going. All right, little 1-0 sinker here to Freeman. Gets him on the ground. Taking a little page out of Sproat's book. Let the sinker play into these righties. Get some early contact, get some early outs. All right, Josh Smith, cutter, then to changeup.
Unbelievable. Fly ball out
Ooh,
to center.
not a good changeup, but kind of screws him up anyway. It's a pitch type he hadn't seen yet. Kind of jams himself, flies out to center. And here's that Wyatt Langford again. Let's watch the whole at bat with Wyatt. 4-seam away, I like that.
Langford takes a fastball strike.
I love when 4-seam is like your 4th or 5th best pitch that you can choose to throw to a righty. I love throwing it first pitch if you think the guy's taking, because it holds back a lot of your best pitches, and they don't get a sense for the fastball shape, which is the sinker, which is the pitch you actually want to throw to get them out. So I love that. 2 outs, nobody on. He's thinking this guy is going to want to make me throw some more pitches. I'm just going to get ahead. I'm going to groove a 4-seam in there. He does it. Gets to the 0-1 count and really didn't show him anything he wants to get him out with. Ooh, now he's actually going to double down with the 4-seam. And Super pulls it. Ooh, triple up with the 4-seam. So maybe this is an example of 2 outs, nobody on. And I don't need to show him my full arsenal right now at all. So I'm just going to go right at him with my worst pitch, basically. Even though it's 96, it's not a bad pitch, but basically my worst pitch, that and the cutter. And I'm just going to go right at this guy and hold back something in case I need it later. This isn't a big spot. Even if he were to clip me for a home run here, I could probably live with it. I kind of like this approach. Here it is, hit it, and he ends up getting it out. All right, 4th inning. Jock's going to get him. Yeah, interesting throwing the sinkers. Tries to go front door here, I bet. Yeah, and just leaves it up away. So here's the classic miss, but he misses in the zone with it. We'll get a better view of it on the center field cam. They go for the front door here, and he just leaves it over middle. This is a very, very commonly made mistake that everybody does. Certainly I did it a lot of times, but it allowed Jock to just kind of slap it in there. So what does he do? He comes right back and gets a double play. So it's going to be a sweeper, probably a sinker in off that. Terrible call by CB. Jesus. And then so a double sweeper. Should be 0-1. He gets him to kind of pull off it. Right to Frankie, over to Jeff, over to Pete. Double play. So you just don't get much going off Nolan McLean. All right, now Rowdy Tellez. He's going to get a hit on a sinker. Slashes to left. I'm curious to see if he gets to face him a 3rd time, if he throws him sinkers or not, because he's thrown him like 5 or 6 in the first 2 at bats. So Rowdy's got to be keyed in on that. This was a very scoopy bat path designed to hit a sinker. So kind of slashes it that way. Nice swing. And now Josh Jung gets called out on strikes, also on a sinker. And this CB takes away and he gives. This pitch is low. He gets the call. He's punched out, what, 4 or 5 guys looking in this game? All right, 5th inning, Ozuna. Going to get him with the sinker. They're going for the front door again. All right, so here's the good miss. The bad miss to Jock was on a very similar attempt. But instead of missing up top, he ends up missing over here in a hittable location. inside the zone. Here he misses again, but you'll see the difference here.
2 coming. Struck him out with a high.
This pitch is up above the zone. So it's the same intended target. They're trying to drill it in here for the in the inside corner for the called third strike, but he ends up missing up top. But this is where the good miss is. And this is why I always advocate for a high target when you attempt these pitches. So nice pitch there. Shit, I just saved something. Didn't mean to do that. And now Higgy's going to get the treatment. He's going to strike out on a changeup. So right and right changeup. This is nasty. Disappearing changeup. So now he's cooking with gas. Of course, then he goes double walk. Sinker here, 1-0 sinker. Got him with a sinker the previous time, so that's pretty good anticipation. This time by Freeman. He's probably seeing 4 pitches, 4 sinkers in this game. Finally adjusts, hits one down the line. So sometimes the hitters strike back too, and they adjust before you realize that they're going to. So there's a hit. Then he walks Josh Smith, and now another at-bat with Wyatt Langford, so let's watch it. Remember, he went right at him with all 4-seamers last at-bat. And it pays dividends right here on the first pitch. 4-seam, this ball trends to the up and in. If this was a 4-seam, this ball is probably going to get to like this region, but instead it's a sinker. So it ends up getting inside and chewing up Wyatt a little bit here. And this trap was late in the previous at-bat with all the 4-seams. So it kind of gets him the half trigger and it gets to 0-1. So this thing even paid off a couple innings later. Just going right at him with the 4s. All right, another sinker. Beautiful pitch. Pitch looked like it had good drop, yeah. -1 vertical on a sinker is incredible. And it had good run at 18.3. That's outstanding, and it was 96. So this was a hell of a sinker. Again, he held back the sinker the last at bat. Now he's in a big spot with Wyatt Langford. This is why you do it. First and second, 2 outs. A hit here, this kills you. Right? It doesn't kill you, but this hit here gives up a run, costs the team the lead. So now he switches to the sinker type, and he gets himself to an 0-2 count. So let's see how he goes at him now. Sweeper.
Got that one off his fist.
Oof. Really, really, really bad sweeper. I think he just tried to throw this one too hard. Usually when you make this type of miss, what happens as a pitcher is you kind of just try to put too much power into it too early, and you leave your hand behind and you cast it out. And that's what happens here. Let's see if we can see it.
0-2 to Langford.
It's so subtle, but he just tried to put the hammer down a little too early. You have to really wait for that front foot to land before you get it down. And now he's still an 0-2 count, but that was not a good sweeper. So let's see what he tries to go to here to get the punchy. Ooh, he's going to double up on the sweeper. He's going to try to fix the mistake. Let's see how he does it. Does it again. Except this time it's kind of the really hard one to swing at, right? Because it pops up and in, and earlier in this at bat he's throwing a bunch of pitches that ran in on him. And in the previous at-bat, he threw fastballs. So even though he threw him one sweeper, Wyatt's still got to be on fastballs. You've seen an awful lot of fastballs in this game. The ball pops up and in. There's a little bit of a hesitation to fire. And then you see how this ball just kind of droops back into the zone. Obviously, it's nowhere near the intended target. But some of the previous pitches caused Wyatt Langford to lock up a little bit. So this is why having the big breadth of arsenal and the ability to show guys so many different things can pay dividends in ways that you don't even expect. Hard not to be impressed by him. All right, 6th inning, and this is his last inning. Jock Peterson is going to get out with a cutter here. Dangerous pitch, but he probably set it up well. And a little pop out to left. Well, I got a text from Rob Bradford. Oh, he wants me to come on the podcast. Yeah, I can do that. All right. Then he hits Adolis. 97, so still throwing cheese on the 89th pitch.
And that one hits Garcia on the hand.
Which is a good sign, because if the Mets are going to go anywhere, this guy's going to lead them. He's going to lead them. That's how good he's been. So he hits Garcia on the hand. I don't know how that doesn't happen almost every single game. And now Rowdy Tellez, sweeper. So Rowdy gets his revenge in this game. Ends up getting 2 hits off of him. I noted how he probably wasn't going to throw him a sinker again. We didn't even really get to find out too much because he just gets a hit on the first pitch sweeper. But he does get to a first and third one-out situation. And now Josh Jung. Let's see how he goes about getting out of this. First pitch sinker. He's trying to get that double play ball. That's a good first pitch. Why do I say that's a good first pitch even though it's 1-0? Because this is a situation I have a lot of familiarity with. It's a one-run game. You're tiptoeing around it a little bit. You want to give the batter a chance to be over-aggressive and do some dumb shit. And if the guy here was committed to swinging at this pitch no matter what, he's hitting a ground ball on that, right? And that's ultimately what you want in this spot. You want a double play. So you got to at least throw one to see where he's at in this spot before worrying about getting in the strike zone. So for all of the first pitch strike stuff out here, this is the situations where I don't really care about that. I want to test the hitter on the first pitch and not get ambushed and give up a 3-run homer or something like that just because I am so dedicated to getting in the strike zone.
Here's Josh Young.
So that's a good pitch even though it's a ball. And let's see what he gets him with now. Now he's going to go to the sweeper.
And Young hits a ground ball
Gets him off the end of the bat. Rolls it to Frankie over to Jeff. And a huge double play. Just really hard to get anything going with him. When he needs a ground ball, he seems like he can get it. And this is just another incredible outing from the kid. He got 2 clutch double plays when he needed them. He struck out a ton of guys looking. He probably didn't have his best command early in the game, if we're being honest. And yet he still found a way to literally dominate the game. He's been so good. So good. See what we can see in here. Anything out of the ordinary from yesterday. He didn't have his good changeup going yesterday. It averaged -1 on the season, but yesterday it only averaged 3. So he didn't have his good break on his changeup going yesterday. It's okay. He realized that. He only threw 7 of them. Curveball also, in my opinion, his best pitch. Didn't have a great feel for it. Only got 1 swing on a curveball. Didn't become a huge part of the game. But he leaned into what he did have working, which was that sinker and that sweeper. A little bit of cutter, a little bit of four seam. And he ends up getting, in a game where he only gets 4 whiffs, he still ends up with plenty of strikeouts. How many strikeouts did he get? He ended up with 7 strikeouts and only 4 whiffs. So that's a big deal. And this is why I really care about guys with feel and with mix, and especially nice when they know and they understand how to lock hitters up and freeze them, because it just takes your strikeout ability to another level when you don't have to get whiffs all the time. Whiffs are just hard to generate, right? They just are, especially over periods of time. You're going to have times out there where you just can't miss the bat, and you still got to find a way to get strikeouts. So really impressive. Once again from McLean, I don't really have much more to say. He's clearly the ace of the team at this moment. He's just got to keep going. Mets just got to keep going. They're hanging on to this lead, but there's still enough time for them to get some mojo here. And it's really looking like it's going to be the young guys. Sprode had a great start this series, as did McLean. We'll see about Tong the next time through. Now they're throwing Minaya in the bullpen. Maybe they're going to piggyback with Holmes maybe tomorrow. We'll see. But Nolan McLean, what a find, man. What a freaking find. All right, let's hop over to the chat for a second, and then we'll go watch George Kirby. There's so much stuff in here. It's great. Yeah, Scott Ward. We did play game 163 in 2018. Walker Buehler shut us down. New Philly Walker Buehler shut us down in that game. And then we had to go play the wild card game in the Cubs. That was my first playoff appearance. Yeah, the streams are getting good here. This is awesome. 33 people in here right now. Really grateful for that. It's odd how many guys the Rangers have that are 5-tool guys, but they're developing, so everyone thinks they're bad, but they're just learning. Yeah, and I think the Rangers are in a good spot moving forward. I know it's been a little frustrating because they had that early peak with the World Series a couple years ago, and they thought they were going to be the class of the AL West for a little while. But Evan Carter, still a ton of upside with him. They're still developing a lot of their young guys on the mound: Jack Leiter, Kumar Rocker, etc., etc. But they do a lot of things right. I'm a big fan of Chris Young. Yeah, Rangers are high quality. Oh, thank you, my wife, about my green zip-up. This is very cozy. That's my thing. Did you see him checking his hand all game? He had an abrasion that the broadcast kept bringing up. See, I didn't watch a lot of the game until later in the game. I caught most of the 8th, 9th, and into extra innings, so I didn't see, but He must have a little bit of an issue going on with the fingers. And look, when you put this much dang spin on the ball, you're going to have issues if your fingers aren't in perfect condition. I can give a little bit of insight to this. It's hard to see now because I'm not pitching. But on my fingernail here, right here, it used to be there used to be a massive callus right here on my pointer finger, and then into my finger, it would almost look dead under there. And for a little while, I would have to go to the nail salon and get like a gel put over it to preserve this nail. Otherwise, it would break and chip to the point where it would be a constant hangnail. And all that came from pressure on my sinker, putting my pointer finger into the ball with pressure. So I was religious about filing my nails, sanding things down, making sure I had no hangnails. Another thing that would happen to me is sometimes after I would release the ball, I would like go like this with my nail, and if it was sharp, it would cut my thumb, and then I'd be bleeding. So I always had to keep my nails not only short, but also like not sharp. So nails were a big thing. I also used to do a lot of stuff in the hot tub, cold tub. So I was afraid that my fingers would get soft, so I started wearing like finger cots, like little, they look like condoms, but like little rubber things over my fingers so that my fingers would be protected. Like there's literally so much that goes into this, trying to figure out how to feel good with your hands throughout the whole year and not have problems, because I had a lot of spin on my ball, but McLean has even more. So when he's ripping on seams, you know, that's creating a lot of stress on the skin layers there. So it's not surprising that this is something that he's going to have to deal with for the first time. Plus it's big league balls, they get very dusty, they get very dry. I don't know what his skin's like, but this time of year you can get like that dry, chappy skin. All that can work against you. So there's a lot here built in. So it makes sense that he was looking at his hand a lot. He had a broken fingernail last start on the one hand, whatever was wrong with the tip above his finger, above the nail. So that's the thing too. Like, it's also like, you know, it's soft under there, under your fingernail. So like sometimes if your fingernail's chipped, now the ball's rubbing on an area that's not very comfortable. There are good two-pitch pitchers like Gosman, but if one isn't working, it's a bad day. I agree. It's scary to be a two-pitch pitcher, especially as a starter, because you do feel like a sitting duck sometimes with the guessing game too. And you see McLean gets you in a state where you can't really guess with him, because if you do, like, you're just probably going to be wrong. He's mixing it up so much, and he's got so many different, you know, options out there. So that's part of the reason why I'm so high on him right away. Ron Darling said it has to be the fewest starts to become the ace. I agree. Maybe in Mets history. We looked at Tanner Scott a little bit the other night. Daniel Brown, I don't know. It's super weird. Stuff looks good. Velocity's down a tick, but he's getting rocked like he's tipping. So I don't know. We tried to look at it. I didn't see anything. All right. You want to watch Pete's walk-off real quick? Yes, and I am a big Miles Davis fan. All right. We'll watch Pete's walk-off real quick, and then we'll head over to... George Kirby. I just want to give a quick shout out also to this guy right here, Ryan Stanek, who did an outstanding job in the 10th inning. This is a big spot. Like, he throws up a 0 here, it sets up the Mets to win. I know he's had an interesting year, but just wanted to shout that out. All right, so here's Pete Alonso, 3-pitch at bat to win the ball game. First and second in the 10th. Typical Pete, definitely decided he was ambushing first pitch here, so he was in an auto swing. Good thing here is he misses it, because this is a perfect pitch. Strike ball. So Pete gets to 0-1, but he was hoping for a hanger in the zone or something. Good news for Pete. He's very good at resetting his brain here. Slider again. Yanked really far away. So now slider. If you're on fastball, you think it's coming now. If you're on slider, now you know what window it has to come out of. So he's going to get a sinker. Looks like Pete's probably been on that the whole time. And like very few can, and very few ever will be able to do, he takes the sinker middle down and hits it 110.1 to the opposite field. In a game that the Mets absolutely needed. They could not afford to lose their 9th in a row. Vibes were probably very low in the ballpark up until this moment, but now vibes are obviously very hot, very, very big. You can tell how important this was to Pete. He took his batting gloves off before he ever got to home. The helmet never even made it to first. So we can watch it again from the side because this is just classic Pete. How do you, when you know it on an opposite field home run, to me that's impressive. That means you've hit a lot of dingers in your career. Not a lot of people know it. Sarby knew it over at third. He's got the finger up. Yep, see you later. So that's awesome. Congrats to the Mets. They needed that. They're going to have to play well against the Padres coming up. Good point in the chat that the top of the 10th is huge for a reliever. I mean, it's so much leverage. All those extra inning spots are huge leverage. You know, you don't really get credit for them. You don't get a hold or anything. So there's a lot of weird stats with home plate with relievers that don't really make any sense to me. But you know, Pete needs to practice better celebrations. Pete's just a goofball. That's what Pete is. It's all just flow of consciousness. It's just flow of consciousness with Pete. He's like a cartoon character. Ooh, my son did damage at the toy store. Wow. All right, I'm gonna keep looking at the chat while I go try to look for. Oh, in a second, I have to get into George Kirby's 14 punchies. So yeah, give credit to Stanek. That's a big spot to come in. He came through huge. Notice Mets stayed away from Helsley again in that spot. So he's definitely not in the circle of trust at this moment. And it's going to be interesting to see if he can get back in. Yeah, everybody loves Pete. Can you explain why or why not Hefner is good at his job? Hef's just great, man. He's played. He knows all the numbers. He's really good at game planning. He's really good at being rational. He's really good at talking you off the ledge. He's really good at motivating you. Really good at just having, you know, a very high-level intellectual pitching conversation with everybody, and really good at seeing it through other people's eyes and other people's perspectives. And I don't know, I just think the pitching coaching job, you know, you have so many different guys that think differently and see things differently, and you're just trying to, you know, put everybody in the best spot they possibly can. And it's not easy because he can't go out there and throw the pitches for you. And guys do get in and out of whack. That's very normal. But at the same time, he does a really good job, I think, of you know, being there for you and just trying to help guide you through it. Yeah, I'm smiling because I read your text, Brett. No kidding. All right, so let's get back to the content since that's what people are here for. They're not here for this nonsense. All right, so who did George face last night? Because I know he had the 13 ponchalos last night. Oh, the Angels. So George Kirby, the pride of Rye, New York, which is right up the road from me. Which is just, I root for all people in my area like anybody else. Wow, 51 four-seamers in this game with 11 whips on the four-seam. That's incredible. 22 sliders, 20 sinkers, 8 knuckle curves. So no splits. That used to be a thing. He was throwing cutters, so he's kind of tightened up the mix all of a sudden. And we all know about his command and strike throwing. And we will watch Cal Raleigh's home run as well. So George Kirby versus the Angels. All right, let's watch the 14 strikeouts. First one's Mike Trout. It's probably a fastball up. Man, 98.5. George Kirby's arm is feeling loosey-goosey. So he just doors Mike Trout. This whole series, every single time I've watched a Mike Trout at bat, the Mariners have gone back to that basic strategy of high fastball, high fastball, high fastball, high fastball, and it's working. All right, Yohan Moncada, knuckle curve. This is a nice knuckle curve. 85.5 with huge break.
He slows it down. The curveball gets a punch out there.
You've heard it here first. I definitely think George Kirby will win a Cy Young, and the reason why I think that is because once the luck factor goes in his, like once he has a full year of the luck factor on his side, he's pretty much unstoppable because he's not going to beat himself with the quality of his command, and he's durable as well, and his stuff is really good. So once he figures out the mixture of the luck factor and exactly what stuff he wants to throw out there, he has got the potential for a crazy year, like a year with like 15 walks and like 200 innings and like a 2-something ERA that would probably win you to Cy Young. All right, we're not going to watch anything but strikeouts. Christian Moore is going to get punched out with 98 up.
There's a lot of pressure being a play-by-play guy.
Doors up in, see ya. Davidson called out on strikes. This is going to be the sinker. So he's playing 2 fastballs off of 2 different breaking balls right now. Is that what he's doing? So that was then Denzer Guzman, rookie who's getting his first little action in the big leagues, has to go in and face this Mariners pitching staff. That's no fun. 98, perfectly placed at the top. Now Riviero. Notice these are all in a row, by the way. 97. Just Bayou. Not even close. I'm curious, did he... Yeah, so he goes sinkers. He goes sinker early in this at-bat. And then he just bullies him with 4 seams. Then Teodosio. Another 4 seam up. Doors. So the fastball was jumping. Jumping. Then he's going to get Mike Trout out, called out on strikes. So he punched out, like, I don't know, what's this, 6 or 7 guys in a row? Yep, up and away, high target. Trout's like, I can't hit it, so I'm not going to swing at it. And then he put it right there. Taylor Ward. So almost all fastballs. This is amazing. Doors. And this does get back to the stuff that I was taught as a kid about pitching with your fastball. If you have lethal command with your fastball, it's really more than one pitch. And that's what George Kirby's doing, not only with throwing sinker and 4-seam, but also the way he moves it around, the way he's always ahead in the count. You can see when he goes up for the finishing move up top, they're nowhere near it. All right, Logan Davidson. So he did give up 2 runs in this game, but 14 strikeouts needs to be celebrated. Gets him looking on a high fastball. Teodosio again. This time it's going to be the slider. Okay. First slider strikeout of the day, I believe. Ooh, middle. So he went curveball. I just want to watch this at bat real quick. Curveball. Curveball gets the swing. Now 4-seam, probably going to stand him up inside, I would guess. Yep, runs it in. He was super diving for that first pitch, so he's totally sawed off there, 0-2. And then the slider, he probably meant to go away with it, but ends up locking him up. You can see the dive there. I mean, he goes leg kick up and then straight into the plate. So that's the dive. I mean, the hands are in the strike zone right here. So George is reading that. They're reading all that. And then Trout again. So Trout the 3rd time. 2nd time called looking. Let's see if it's another fastball up. It is. Same pitch again. This is actually a ball. But that's total domination of one of the all-time greats with all fastballs. It's a very simple game plan sometimes, but not everybody can execute it. George Kirby executes it to a T. All right, let's see how he gets these last 2. Ooh, a sinker. It's going to be a comebacker. Perfection. And it's 98 to finish the 6th. It's that high target that I talk about. Look at Cal's target. Beautiful. And just drills it. Boom. My God. And then he comes out for the 7th, and he's going to get Joe Adell with the same pitch. Ooh, and on this one, I've talked about this a few times, but it bears repeating. On this one, Cal Raleigh does a hell of a job because he sets up actually off the corner. If we go back to the target's off the plate, right? So now when the ball, you have the lane that you want to throw it in, you drill it right at the target there. And then when it runs, it comes inside that target just a bit, and you get that effect where he's catching it and the frame goes back towards home plate. Because the umpire sees that Raleigh's set up off the plate away initially, any move of him catching the ball and bringing it back towards the plate, the umpire is going to naturally assume is a strike. So that's part of the reason why this pitch is called a strike, even though it's not a strike. So this is a fantastic job of targeting and such an underrated difference maker in MLB. Also great command, but you put those 2 things together, and sometimes you can trick the umpire into calling a pitch like that off the plate. This is actually a great take by Joe Adell. So he didn't do anything wrong, but he got locked up by a great little magic trick, basically, by George Kirby and Cal Raleigh with that targeting and execution. So that's the 14 punchies. Let's watch the Cal Raleigh homer. Not only did he catch a hell of a game, he also went 2 for 4 with a walk, and he homers on a first pitch here off of Kyle Hendricks' Oppo. 84.6 mile-an-hour sinker, out away, hits it off the plate away, drives it into left, 109.4 off the bat. Outstanding exit velocity, 20 degrees. And when you're hitting Oppo line drives on pitches off the plate away, you're a home run hitter. You just are. That is number... What number was that? Like 150? That was number 54. So he was sitting obviously on a fastball first pitch. He was swinging no matter what. And he gets it off the plate away. But a comfortable. He doesn't look like he reaches too much for that. So obviously where he sets himself up in the box, he feels like he's got good plate coverage. Yeah, he's pretty close to the box because this pitch is way out here. And it's comfort. It's not a crazy reach, but he also takes it the other way. Guy's just having a hell of a year. I don't think he's going to end up winning the MVP. I do think Judge is going to get it. But that's a commitment to driving it the other way and just a hell of a swing. Whatever he did to get locked in the cage right before that at-bat, it worked. That was a thing of beauty. So Raleigh does it behind the plate and in the box. And the Mariners in first place. They've now won 9 in a row. I've been waiting for them to be this team for a long time. They have the pitching. You've seen it. Woo's on an absolute burner. 6 innings every start this season. Gilbert's a dog. Castillo's amazing. Bryce Miller has great stuff. And obviously George Kirby. We just saw him strike out 14 guys. He has now struck out 14 guys twice this season with no walks. That's Kurt Schilling-esque. That is very rare to have that many strikeouts. But yeah, the Mariners now, if you look at the AL West, 1-game lead. They are about to play at Kansas City, who is season on the brink. So they'll be throwing the kitchen sink at the Mariners. But again, that's a tough task. Mariners are going to throw out good starters every single game in that series, and that's going to be a tall task. And then Houston and Texas are playing each other. So this is a little bit of that similar effect to what the Mets are counting on right now with the Giants and Diamondbacks playing each other, is that maybe they split the series. We can create a little more separation through that. Hopefully there's not a sweep one way or the other that keeps the team hot on their tails. So that's kind of what they're hoping for. All right, got some stuff really quick in the chat. Have to bet on Skubal signing with the NL team. I mean, listen, I love Skubal too. Skubal's incredible. I'm just saying sooner or later, I think George Kirby has the capability of getting there statistically. Like, he's just not going to beat himself. He's capable of having one of those crazy seasons where he puts up like below 1 walk per 9, and then his batted ball luck really goes in his favor, and he's throwing complete games and stuff. So he has a chance to like lead the league in every category if things break the right way. And I think he's been trying to figure that out with his pitch mix. That's why I give him credit. Not discounting Skubal, Crochet, any of these other great pitchers. Listen, only one guy in each league gets to win it, so it's very hard. I mean, Garrett Cole didn't win it off of 2019. Go look at his numbers that year, and he did not win. So it's not always about what you do. Raleigh loves to call that sinker sneaking into the zone. If you watch it, he does it with all the Mariners starters. Just a beautiful call and framing by Raleigh. And yes, the Mariners are teaching it, or they are all, learning it from each other. But they both throw the four seam. They all throw the four seamers and the sinkers, and they have a very good feel for the right moments to go ahead and throw that comeback pitch for the called strike 3. And like I said, it's such a cheat code pitch, and I think once you start throwing a sinker, that's the type of sinker you should learn first, is the glove side sinker, before you worry about that arm side running in on a righty. Once you can master that glove side sinker, it opens up the whole world to you. And again, you don't need to get whiffs. And I think as we move forward, the level of stuff, like, it's getting so crazy, it's going to be hard for some guys to get whiffs because they're not going to be able to get their stuff to that whiff level. Do you think Tong's fastball playing the same way it did in the minors? He seemed scared to throw it last start. Well, it definitely won't play in the same way it played in the minors. Tong's ERA and, not ERA, hits per 9 in the minors was a joke this year. It was like 3 or 4 hits per 9. So it won't play the same. It's big leagues. They now study you. They have you on traject. They have team approaches. They understand the metrics. Like, the fastball won't play the same, but it's still a great fastball. The fastball will play ultimately in the big leagues, yes, provided he figures out how to get it to the right locations and how to, and what his mix is. Like, nobody can just throw all fastballs as a starter. So he's going to have to figure out the rest of his game and his command a little bit. Right now, it seems like he's just trying to play this north-south, throw general strikes game. Usually the game requires a little bit more than that as time moves on. And certainly we've seen not a lot of like crazy hard contact off of him like in this last start, but guys not striking out. So they're putting it in play and giving themselves chances. And that means some games those balls are going to fall in. He did give up the 3 home runs in Cincinnati, and that's where I kind of expect typically his runs are going to come from. He's going to be striking guys out, popping them up, and occasionally getting clipped for a homer with his extreme fly ball approach. But now in the big leagues, you also are going to run into those games where they just put you into play and things go right for the offense. How do you do that on that pitch genuinely in that ballpark? I mean, Cal Raleigh, hell of a swing. Tough ballpark to hit in. It's just a great swing. So this is out of the park baseball that Charlie A is talking about. I would love to, and Spectre as well. I would love to learn more about that. Maybe I'll do a little Google on that later and check that out. Okay, so that's what people are talking about. All right, I don't have a ton of time today, so I'm just going to go right ahead and do the probables. Also, Trey Savage, I'm pretty sure, is starting tonight for the Blue Jays. So that, you know what that means? That means it's time for a Major League Debut breakdown video over on Watching tonight. As soon as that happens, assuming he is starting. I saw that somewhere earlier today, so that's exciting. He's a guy I've been anxious to see pitch for a little while now. All right. So here, probables for today. Jamison Tyone at the Pirates, his old stomping grounds, and Braxton Ashcraft. Braves and Nats, Spencer Strider, Mitchell Parker from Washington. It's kind of weird that these Braves games seem to not mean much, but they definitely mean a lot for Strider to kind of get himself going. And here it is, Toronto at Tampa, Trey Savage. So we're going to watch that. There's going to be a watching video. Who knows how long he goes. I know he's probably on a little bit of a pitch count limit, but this guy was just drafted, so it's another really fast rise to the big leagues. It's a really over-the-top delivery from what I've seen, but excited to learn more. And he goes up against the Rays. Kyle Bradish. Who's been amazing. I wish I would have done a video on him. We talked about him the day he came back. I should have done a whole video on him because he's filthy, and he's facing the White Sox today. Yankees at Twins. This is the game I'll be covering pre and post tonight on Yes. Carlos Rodon, Simeon Woods Richardson is the matchup from the Lakes, the land of the Lakes. Reds and Cardinals, Zach Littell, Matthew Liberatore. So the Reds are desperate to stay in it, and they have to go to Busch Stadium and face a pretty good lefty tonight. Here's a big one. Rangers and Astros. Jack Leiter, Jason Alexander, who's been quietly excellent for Houston. It's a command, it's a contact game, but he's been quietly outstanding for the Astros. So Jack Leiter, Jason Alexander tonight in Houston. Giants, Diamondbacks. This is that other one. Suddenly the Diamondbacks are back in this thing. Zach Gallen, who's been much better in the second half, goes against Kai Wei Teng tonight in the desert. And then this is kind of like maybe the best two teams in the NL. Philly and the Dodgers. Ranger Suarez, Emmett Sheen. This is just a fun matchup. Doesn't mean a whole lot. I guess they're duking out. Now, the Phillies are way ahead of them, I think, in record-wise for home field and all that. But these teams might meet in a couple weeks here in the playoffs. So this is just exciting just for baseball in general. But there are other series with bigger implications for the here and now. Giants, Diamondbacks, Rangers, Astros. Certainly, we got to keep an eye on the Reds. And then everything going on in the AL East. So the Blue Jays, who are throwing a rookie out there tonight. And the Yankees have Rodon out there tonight. Is somebody here? Hello? Maybe not. Oh, hey, Archie. You got trucks?
Yeah.
Did you get good ones?
Uh-huh.
How many?
2.
2?
Not 2.
Give me a high five.
Not 2.
Okay, we have to go in a minute. I got to go to the dentist. So that's what I got going on today. Quick in the chat here before I say goodbye. Who do you like in a potential wild card matchup between the Dodgers and Mets? I mean, I like the Dodgers right now. The Dodgers are going to throw, Yamamoto, Snell, Glasnow. Mets are going to throw McLean. I don't know, Sproat, Peterson. Those are all really good, but those Dodger pitchers are crazy high upside, and also Mookie's been playing better, which I think is the big separator at the moment. But it's 3 games. Anything can happen. Mets play well at Dodger Stadium generally. Anything could happen. Alexander did a good job against the Yankees a couple weeks ago. That makes sense. Senga looked good his last start in AAA. Okay, so if they get him back in the fold, that would help as well. We have my opinion on the automated strike zone, which I can get into for a quick second before I say goodbye. I like it for the challenge system, which I think is pretty much guaranteed to be coming to MLB. Anybody who doesn't think so is just living in the past or something. But it's going to be an entertainment product. It's not just the fact that we're going to get big strike ball calls correct. It's also the fact that it's exciting to kind of see whether guys get their challenges right or wrong. And if there's certain guys that are over anxious to challenge and then they get their ability to challenge revoked by their team. I love all that drama that's associated with that. But also you're going to get the calls right in really big spots, which I think is just good in general. Getting calls right Giving the credit to the team that deserves it is huge. And in balls and strikes, it's so small. Like, think about it. You're supposed to throw a pitch directly on the corner, like just barely shaving the corner. That's perfection. But that's also the pitch that's closest to being a ball. So doing your job perfectly sometimes makes it more likely for you to get a bad result but from the umpire. So it's just really weird. Same with the hitters. You spit on a pitch this far off the corner and they call it a strike. It's like, no, I actually did my job as good as I can do it, and I'm getting penalized. What's up, Arch? What? Mama?
Yeah.
Go get her. McLean, Peterson, Holmes for 3 innings, and Mania to take Otani, Freeman probably. Yes, and hopefully Sean can feel good. Hopefully he can get it rolling and be a big weapon out of the bullpen. That would be exciting for the Mets for sure. But that's my opinion. I was just talking about the ABS. I just like it for the challenge. I hate it for all the time. I fully endorse human umpires. I just want to get the big calls right a few times a game, and I want to have the entertainment value of the challenges. I think that would be fun. And I would have loved to challenge some pitches in my day. Not a lot, but a handful of them that you just know are in the zone, and they make all the difference in the game. And, they didn't go your way, but you just know that they were in the zone, and you never get a chance to challenge those in my whole career. So I think it's cool for guys that they're going to be able to do that. And knowing the zone as a hitter is going to become even more valuable, same as on the mound. Like, not begging, but knowing and being honest about it, and then making good evaluations before you do the head tap. So that's kind of the way I feel about that. Well, I'm sad to be going, but I have to go to the dentist. I got a lot of stuff going on today. Then I got to go get ready for tonight, Yes Network stuff. So I'm going to say bye now. But thank you guys for hanging with me today. We just really watched McLean and George Kirby. We watched one swing, so we didn't really get to see a ton, but I'm excited about Trey Savage tonight. That video will be up tonight, hopefully, because I'm covering the game, but I'm going to try to get it up tonight, overnight, for Blue Jays fans in the morning. So I'll see you guys later. Thanks for hanging with me. Baseball and Coffee. I'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m., same time, same place. All right. Peace.